Good evening, and welcome to my first international show. The show started in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It was a great show, but it only aired in Winston-Salem. Now, the person responsible for getting the show started is my guest tonight. He's touched the lives of many. He's a community activist. He's ACGG Mid-Atlantic Coordinator. Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Fleming, Amin. What's up, bro?
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it very much.
Now, Fleming, tell us about yourself.
It is an honor, first of all, just to be a part of this magnificent opportunity with you, Mr. Bill Jackson, because you have such a gift to communicate with people. And I'm just honored to be here, to be a guest of yours in this fantastic vehicle to communicate with the people in your neighborhood, in your living room. It's quite an honor for me. And I feel very honored to be identified as someone who got this process started 20 years ago when we were on a program called Cat TV. But personally, I grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, in a little place called Jackson Grocery and Fish Market, many, many years ago, back in 1952 to be exact, when I was born. And under the influence of my grandfather, Mr. Fleming Jackson, I was always community sensitive to the needs in the community. And basically, I'm an extension of that today. The American Coalition for Good Government, commonly referred to as ACGG, is a nonpartisan, nonprofit, national organization. What's the purpose of it? To get grassroots people involved in influencing the political process to their benefit. You have a lot of organizations that will come out when it's election time, asking for money, asking for your support, asking for your vote, worrying you to death about a contribution. Our design is to educate you on civic engagement, to encourage you to get engaged and hold those people accountable. And so we do a series of workshops called Civic Engagement 101 across the country. We do get involved in encouraging other people who identify with our purpose to get involved in voter registration, to get involved in local boards, to get involved in local precincts, to do all the necessary legwork needed for you to really influence those politicians who ask on a regular basis for your support, but very often get lost in the process once they get elected. So our job, hold them accountable, keep yourself informed, stay active, and move your community forward in your locality. It's very, very important. In fact, it's your duty. If you do less than that, you become somewhat of a disappointment to your ancestors, many of whom died, bled, sacrificed their lives to give us a chance to be here today. So let's always hold that sacred in our mindset. And remember, whenever you cast your vote, it's a sacred trust entrusted to you by the blood of many who died. And I've physically been in some of those slave castles in Africa, in Benin, in Ghana, and I've touched those walls and sort of felt the spirit of our ancestors. So I know if they went through that, we have no excuse here. So brothers and sisters, don't ever forget your sacred trust extended to you, and don't ever forget to vote. Local elections, state elections, and federal elections. And of course, you know we have an election coming up very soon. We may want to talk about a little bit of that as we go forward.
There seemed to be a massive conspiracy to stop the vote. How's that played out?
And that's something that we do weekly on a program called the American Coalition for Good Government Report. It comes on every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Midwestern Time. And we discuss what we know in North Carolina as the monster voting rights bill and other bills across the country that are designed to discourage you from voting. The word we use, of course, is suppression, but anything that they pass in Congress, anything they pass in your state house, designed to make it difficult for you to vote, difficult for you to exercise your sacred right, is something that should fire you up in your heart and should make you determined even more so to say, no matter what they do, no matter what they pass, I'm going to vote regardless. And I'm going to defend my right to vote through any process I have to, because all of this is designed to keep the political control in the hands of a few and to ignore the wishes of the masses. We cannot let that stand.
Well, the Winston-Salem is our Selma. What was the outcome on that?
It was very positive. We had about 5,000 to 6,000 people downtown in Winston-Salem for that event. I was very much involved in helping to organize that effort. We did it on that day because also in the city of Winston-Salem, we had a court case being held in federal court on that very same day. It started that day where the NAACP and other organizations are actually suing to get the Voting Rights Act in North Carolina basically declared unconstitutional. So the judge on that day decided that there was enough merit in the case for it to go forward. Of course, as you know, the state of North Carolina said there was no merit to the case. The federal judge said, I don't think so. There's enough merit in this case for me to hear it. And the state tried to be very slick. They came in saying that they have changed some of our concerns that we had about people having a voter ID on that day, especially senior citizens or students who may not have had a chance to secure that kind of detailed voting identification. So they said, well, come on in anyway. We'll give you a provisional ballot. You can declare yourself unable to get a, quote, ID that's required by the state, and we won't hold it against you. You can still come in and vote. So what they tried to do, cuz, was try to frame the new law to fit. They knew what was unconstitutional to make it look good on the public domain. But in fact, brothers and sisters, it boils down to the same thing. Another trick they tried to pull, not to just declare this whole thing unconstitutional. We're not giving up. We have another court on January 16th, I believe, and we'll know then what the judge's final ruling is going to be. But it's going forward in the federal court right now.